What is going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 2 of the First Come First Serve podcast. I'm here with my boys, Real Collective. All right, boys, welcome to the show. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Now, before we even dive too deeply into it, I do want to first give you guys a proper introduction. Now, I obviously know Daniel for the longest amount of time. So, Dan, do you mind please telling the audience what or who you are, what you're all about, what Real Collective is, and then kind of introduce us to both Brady and Jesse?
Okay. Well, my name is Daniel DiMedeiros. I'm the creative director for Real Collective. Alongside me on, I don't know if it's like going to be on this side here, but I got Brady to my left. He is our director of communications, and Jesse Carducci down below. They're both brothers, if you can tell. And he is our marketing director, as well as my little audio guy.
Boomer.
You're the boomer. okay, boomer. Let me do the intro. So I guess a little backstory is like how me and Josh know each other. It was kind of interesting. It was kind of like a friend through a friend. And we kind of just clicked instantly. You know, we were like really passionate about photography and video. And yeah, I don't know, how long has it been? Like 3-4 years?
Probably 4 is my guess.
4 years?
Yeah, probably 4 years.
Yeah, and
you guys knew each other. You guys knew each other all through school, right? All through university.
I think so.
Not all.
I think after second year. Well, actually, I don't know.
Second year.
Second year, I think I got to know you.
Yeah.
First year. I think we met. Yeah, second year, I believe. Yeah.
And you've known Brady and Jesse from before that, though. Way before.
Oh yeah,
that.
Long time.
I always forget because me and Jesse like played on the same house league team when we were kids. But I always forget, and he always reminds me, but I always pretend like I'm too good. I'm too good to remember.
I have like a picture of us like of like our, you take those team photos back in with the soccer balls and stuff. Like I have a picture. I forget how old we were. It was like 9 or 10, and it's just me and Dan in the middle of the bench, and he's like got this bushy long curly hair, and it's so funny. They were tiny. It was
Brady and Jess, I know Dan explained your roles in Real Collective, but besides Real Collective, what are you guys into? What do you guys do in your free time?
We're really into sports and stuff. Us, well, all three of us, I guess we enjoy watching like anime too. So little Naruto, yeah. I don't know if we can say that on here, but too late now.
No, go for it.
Yeah, I enjoy watching that.
Naruto, One Piece, Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, so I'm really into that. Into fashion, clothes, that kind of stuff. Workout, the gym. Can't go to the gym now, but so it's kind of at-home workouts we're doing. But yeah, all the kind of normal things, and yeah, just trying to stay a healthy and fit lifestyle.
Yeah, healthy and fit lifestyle.
That's right.
Me personally, I'm really into producing music, so I do a lot of music production, making beats and stuff like that, and currently I'm trying to get into like engineering, so I'm actually like researching and doing research into like mixing vocals and audio and stuff like that. So really into that right now.
Yeah, if you guys did not know, Jesse is actually the mastermind behind actually all of my music I use for my Kobe Sneaks YouTube channel and the intro song to this podcast. So shouts out to Jesse Carducci. Give him a quick subscribe there. I don't want to stick on this too long, but real quick, how are you guys doing during this time of quarantining and self-isolation? Are you guys doing good? What's up with that?
I think we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, I'm chilling, I guess. Like, it sucks that we don't get to work because like that's our passion, but it's all about staying safe and just taking this time to really just reflect on ourselves and what we can improve and what we like want to learn. So
yeah,
that's why I think time is
gotta be optimistic, right?
Yeah.
So I think this time is really good for, right? Because we can reflect, we can refine things, and it's time that maybe we had to do those things that maybe if we were going like full throttle with everything else going on, we wouldn't have that time. So that's what I like about this time, at least.
It's just I feel like it's a little bit tough right now, trying to keep not keep busy, but keep kind of sane, being cooped up in the house. You know, you got to try and, I know there's the social distancing going on, but you kind of, you have to find ways to, I don't know, go outside for a bit and get some fresh air, walk around just to keep like mentally sane. I've kind of found that if I stay in the house too long, I kind of get a little bit antsy or anxious, and I got to kind of walk outside or something.
Jesse, what's going on? I don't know.
Exactly. I mean, you guys know, obviously, with owning your own production company and me as well in a similar field, we're used to working from home anyways a lot of the time. So that really hasn't changed. But like you said, it's more like the social interaction and just, you know, missing seeing each other and whatnot. It's a bit challenging there. I want to get this next answer from all of you, actually, because even though you guys are in a creative field like I am, obviously you're not into fashion at the same level that I am in terms of like keeping up with releases and all that stuff. But I want to hear from each of you, knowing that you guys are fashionable dudes. At what level are you into fashion? Like, how deeply are you into it?
Level 8.
Who wants to start?
Okay.
Okay, so well, you can go. You want to go first, Dan?
I guess I could start. I don't know. I've always been interested in like what I'm wearing, and I guess just like my overall appearance in terms of like, you know, how I'm keeping up with like my hair, how I'm keeping up with like, you know, my skin routine, how I'm keeping up with like, you know, like either I guess like certain tops I'm wearing, bottoms, shoes. Like I'm not probably as big as into shoes as you, Josh, but I definitely like appreciate and like want to see how I can incorporate like different styles into my aesthetic, like my personal aesthetic. Like for me, like personally, I kind of like figured it out last year where I like a little bit of like street style, but I also like to go for that kind of like European kind of style, like dressier look. And then also everyone has their hobo looks too, which I'm going for today. But and I feel like most people are right now, but that's just kind of like where I sit at in terms of fashion. I try and keep up, like I watch your YouTube channel and like I look up like, you know, I'm really interested in the whole like release thing, and maybe like in a couple of years like I can maybe dive into that area, but it would be that would definitely be something I'm interested in. But yeah, I always look up stuff about like, you know, like like Air Maxes, and like I'm into like Nike and stuff as well. So I don't know. I'm gonna let someone else take that off right now.
Dope.
Well, I think what I think about us, it's like I feel like all of us, like all three of us, have like pretty much like similar styles. Like it's not exactly the same. Like each of us have like our own like unique parts of it, but it's still generally the same. So it's like I mean I feel like all of us have pretty good style. I mean, at least for me, I mean I definitely follow like I follow fashion. I mean, I feel like before when I had a little bit more time and maybe a little bit more money to spend like freely, I would be a little bit more into it because I'm like, oh, okay, well, man, this, you know, Supreme just released this. I actually have the money to go out and get it. So I'd follow it. I find now that since my money's like, oh, okay, I'm going to save it to like reinvest it back into the business, I'm a little bit following it a bit less. But I mean, my interest level hasn't really like wavered. I just find that I'm just a little bit more selective in what I'm looking at, I guess.
Yeah. I would say the same as that thing. It's kind of now I'm looking for like looking my best with like the budget I have, or like with the money I can spend. You know what I mean? Because I used to be really into keeping up with like the latest sneaker drop, the latest like Supreme drop, like One Deep, Xanaro, like all those. Like I used to like be into like Naked and Famous jeans and like nudie jeans and stuff like that. But I'm just like at this point, I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't have the money right now to spend all of that, so I'll revisit that like later on, and then get back into, you know, all the hype beast stuff. But I don't know. Right now, it's all about like that. Right now, I'm into like that minimalist, like looking nice for like on a budget, basically.
Dope. Yeah, I mean, having spent a lot of time with you guys, I mean, that's why I wanted you guys on the podcast, because I know you guys are fashionable dudes, and I wanted to kind of hear your takes at varying levels of interest in fashion, and kind of go from there. Now, this next round is one kind of thing I want to have a reoccurring segment on the podcast, and it's kind of like a Family Feud speed round of questions. I'm gonna give you guys 30 seconds each. I'll do it to each of you individually. We can start with let's start with Brady.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you guys 30 seconds each to answer 5 questions about the shoes in your closet. or in your collection. All right. So I got
Okay.
a timer on my screen right here.
All right, I see
30
it.
seconds.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
And then the time will start after I read the first question. Okay.
Okay,
So here we
sounds
go.
good. Yep.
Question 1. What is your most recent pair of shoes that you bought?
Oh Jesus! I think about a pair of like Puma shoes. I forget like the name of the model, but a pair of Puma shoes. Yeah.
Nice. What's your most worn pair of sneakers?
Probably my Adidas NMDs. Like I got a pair of all black NMDs, so I wear those.
Dope. What's your favorite pair of sneakers?
Okay, it's not sneakers, but like probably like just because I like to like do a little bit of a dresser style.
You're
Like,
up, buddy. Come on.
He's not good. He's not good
I
with the talks.
Chelsea boots. I like Chelsea boots. There you go.
Dope. What's your cheapest pair of sneakers?
Probably my Vans. They're like $60.
Nice. And what's your most expensive pair that you own?
Probably my NMDs. They're like $250.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Dan, I'll get you next. All right, Dan. From the top, same questions. All right. What is the most recent pair of shoes that you bought?
I think that probably like my all black Vapor Maxes.
Nice. What's your most worn pair of sneakers?
I don't know sneakers, but I'd say my Blundstones.
Dope.
Yeah.
What's your favorite pair?
My Blundstones.
Hey, your cheapest pair.
Probably my Vans. I have 2 black and red Vans.
Nice. And the most expensive pair?
Probably my Vapor Maxes. Those are like $450 or something.
Damn, $450.
Yeah.
Holy, you dropped a bag on those. God damn.
Yo, I had to look stylish when I go in the gym, man.
That's right. That's right.
Wait, did you say the Blundstone for $450? Wait, what was $450?
No, the Vapor Maxes.
No.
The Vapor Maxes. Yeah,
Maxes.
those are like $450.
Have I shown you guys those?
Oh yeah, you have.
You haven't.
Yeah, he has.
Oh, has he? Oh, maybe. Okay.
I have not seen them.
You guys should come to the gym with me. That's why.
Gym's closed, buddy. Gym's closed.
Got the home gym down here.
That's right. That's right. 6 feet apart. All right, Jess, you're up.
Okay.
All right. And question 1, what's the most recent pair of shoes you bought?
The Air Max 95s, my tan ones.
Okay. What's your most worn pair of sneakers?
Probably like the Prestos, Nike Prestos, black ones, all black. Yeah.
What's your favorite pair?
Probably those as well because they're the most comfortable.
Nice. What's your cheapest pair?
Cheapest pair would also be those 2. I got those for like I think $110 or $100.
Damn.
Yeah.
And your most expensive pair?
Would be also the Air Max 95. Actually, or the Jordan 13s. I think those are like $250.
Oh, damn. Yeah. Jordan 13s. Okay, respect.
Thanks,
respect. Damn. So the only one that ran on time was Brady. Okay, nice.
He struggles with that in the interviews too. Right?
I'll never forget during the interview, this guy was like, he's like, oh, it was like, hey, I actually the speed round question at the end of the interview, and then he's like, what's your favorite restaurant? And then the guy was like, Cheesecake Factory. He's like, oh, the Cheesecake Factory.
No way,
oh,
really? What?
Really? I didn't expect that from you.
Tell me more.
Tell me more. Do you like cheesecake?
That's hilarious. Thanks for doing that, guys. So I know in your line of work with you, like your company specifically, you guys deal with a lot of really culturally heavy people, whether it's hip hop artists or anyone related in that kind of space. Is their style when they walk in the room, is that something that you guys notice right away? And do you guys kind of take their style and attach it to your first impression of them? Or what's your take on that?
Yeah, I would say so. I don't know if I do that consciously. It's maybe like an unconscious thing, but I definitely like I'll notice like if they're wearing a cool pair of shoes, if they've got a cool style. Like I know like when we're just like before an interview or something, or before a shoot, like if we're just shooting the shit, I'll just ask them like, oh man, like I really like your shoes, like where'd you get them? And then it's just like a good conversation starter. But yeah, I mean I definitely notice it for sure.
Nice.
Yeah. It's really just about like how they present themselves too, right? For me it's like it first I look at their demeanor and like how they approach me. Like, do they shake my hand? Do they look me in the eye? Do they say hello? And then like I address like, that's like the first thing. And then the second thing would be like, how they present themselves, like physically as well in terms of like the apparel.
Right.
That's just like, yeah, because it just means like, it kind of just shows, like if you're walking into something that, you cared to put something nice on today, that you actually care about what's going on rather than you just putting on like,
right.
I don't know, just like, I wouldn't even say like ripped jeans because those are fucking dope. So,
so like their swagger goes beyond just what they're wearing, but also their demeanor and how they, how they walk.
I think it depends on the situation too. Like, I mean, if you're going to a wedding, for example, and you're wearing ripped jeans, obviously, like, don't do that. Josh knows that very well. But like, yeah, it depends on the circumstance as well. Like, I mean, like if you're gonna come to like, say like for like our Real Talks interview show, like swag out, you know what I mean? Like wear your most like dope pants, your dope top, like wear your most favorite shoes. Like, we're not expecting you to come in with a suit. Like that's a little too much. But I mean, like, again,
well, hey, if that's who they are and they want to wear a suit, they can wear a suit, I guess. You know what I mean? If that's their personality, they wear a suit.
So we don't want to do it.
Right? But,
you just see next time we're all just wearing suits. I mean like a nice blazer and a dress shirt, but I mean I'm thinking like black tie, like like a nice black suit, like that's what I'm thinking in terms of suit. I'm not thinking like nice pattern suit and
right. I mean, like, but to Jesse's point though, as long as they're being true to who they are, you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
if that's their vibe and that's their style, then to each his own, right?
Yeah, you can really tell a lot of people match style with their personality. So if they're very out there and stuff, you can notice it in their outfits. Where if they're more like to themselves or like more like a minimal person, they'll kind of show that in what they wear.
Yeah,
in terms of the colors and the tones.
Yeah.
So out of all the people that you've interviewed thus far, who has the best style? Straight up.
That's a good question.
That is a good question. Yeah.
My favorite shoes were from Notify.
Oh, I was going to say that. You stole that. Yeah, I agree with that too.
What are they wearing?
I forget what brand of boots they were, but they almost looked like Doc Martens, but they weren't. He said they got them in the UK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I forgot what brand it was too.
Yeah.
Style wise, maybe.
I don't know. Like,
I think Levi would be up there. Levi would be close. Like, he was wearing a nice outfit.
I was surprised with Claudia's style too. Like, I liked had like I think she was rocking like some Jordan 1 lows and stuff, and it was very like conservative, but she had like her own personal touch to it as well. So she styled out too. I liked her style.
Claudia Million. Shouts out Claudia Million.
Yeah.
Mike's hats, man.
Yeah, Mike's hats.
Yeah, so like we work with a guy, and we're also friends with him too. His name's Mike Upfold. And the first time we met him, like this guy was wearing like a fedora. It was a fedora, right?
Yeah, it's a fedora.
And every time we've seen him after that, he just had a different hat. And like now, it's funny now because we've never seen him with hats, but like our first impression of him was like he always had a fedora on. And like they were dope. And we're like, yo, where'd the hat go?
And he matched it nice with the outfit too. It was like what did he wear? Was he wearing a blazer? He was wearing a blazer, right?
Yeah, I think he was wearing a nice blazer.
Probably his trench coat.
Yeah.
Super style.
I think my answer, having been to a few of your interviews, is probably out of the ones that I've been to. Probably Soch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, probably Soch. His.
He had a nice style.
I think he wore Wave Runners to the interview, but that was probably my favorite style out of anyone that I've been to for your stuff. Now, same question, but I'm gonna flip it on you guys. Who has the best style out of the three of you?
We have very similar styles.
Yeah,
I know.
It's tough to say. I know. I think we all have like good styles. Like I wouldn't give anyone you got better style than me or vice versa. I think we all pretty much.
Some of us has the same clothes too.
Yeah,
like me and Brady have a couple of the same tops. So, and like me and Jesse have some of the same shirts that he never wears.
I wear it now, bro. You see me.
I'm always like, yo, I'll be wearing this like.
Partially because you got the smaller size. That's why. And I was cheesed, and then I have a freaking large. It's bagger.
Because we went out on Boxing Day. We went out to Get Fresh, and we found this shirt. I think it was like, I don't even know how much it was. It was going for like $60 or something, but it was like half off. So we got it for $30. And then Jess like went and bought it first. And then I saw like I was also looking at it too, and he bought a large, and he was like, oh, like I don't know if I'll wear it, blah blah blah, because it's too big. And then he bought it anyways because it's a nice shirt. And then I got the medium, and he's like, "How the hell did you get the medium?" So I always rip on him every time I wear the shirt and he doesn't. And I've only seen him once for that shirt, and I'm like, "Yo, do you not like the shirt?"
Well, it's because it's a pretty heavy t-shirt. It's a pretty heavy like t-shirt. So it's like every time I wear it,
you gotta
be
kind of strong. You gotta be kind of strong to wear it, right?
Yeah, it's you gotta be buff like Dan. We can't all have lats like Dan, but we can.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, here I'll change the question slightly. Who consistently puts in the most effort when it comes to style?
I feel like Dan does.
Dan, yeah.
I would say Dan.
Dan.
Yeah.
Dan the man.
Yeah.
It's for the ladies.
I always like to make sure, like, when I'm leaving the house, that like I'm not like a pretty boy, but I like to make sure like my hair is done. I never know who I'm gonna meet, especially if I'm going downtown. You never know. And like, you know, when I was going to Ryerson, and like when I just hop on the train and stuff, like it was kind of like I always felt like I was underdressed. Like sometimes I would just like I'm just going to class, right? You know, like I just wear maybe like jeans and a t-shirt depending on the weather. But then like I'd see like a guy next to me, you know, rocking like a nice suit, or you know, I'd see like another guy like 2 carts up, and he's wearing, you know, like some nice like Comme des Garçons like shoes, and I'm like, oh fuck, well, like it's not like yeah, it's like a little bit of influence that makes me want to dress a little bit nicer. I think that's just because I'm a little competitive, but I always wanted to just make sure like I felt like confident like what I was wearing. And if I didn't really feel like that confident wearing like a shitty t-shirt and like a shitty pair of pants, like I was kind of, I don't know, I kind of want to like step it up a bit in terms of like what I wear every day. Even sometimes when I'm at home too, because like it just makes me feel better.
Yeah.
I would say your consistency. Sorry.
No, go for it.
I would say like Dan's consistency is rubbed off on me and Brady, because like we do dress nice, but not as consistently as Dan does. So like being obviously with him every single day, he's like consistently doing it. So we kind of gotten into a routine where we're consistently doing it as well. Which in the end, obviously, like appearance is a lot in the business field. So like it works in our benefit when we go, all 3 of us, like consistently dressing nice. So it works.
And I've also learned from you guys too, like, you know, you don't always have to be like completely done up every single day. And that's something I learned from you too. Because like it gets tiring.
Totally.
So like sometimes it's just like,
No, honestly, Dan, to your point of going to a university in downtown Toronto, I heard this thing a few years back that really changed my perspective on like how I dress. And it's like the regular notion of dress to impress, like that's fine, but this new notion of dress to be ready. So like you're always ready to meet somebody, like you were saying, Dan. You're always ready to, you know, like just walk by somebody that you might have an impact on in the future or in that moment. So always just kind of dress to be ready, whereas dress to impress implies that you have a specific intention in mind, like you're going somewhere specific. Dress to be ready is just kind of like an everyday consistency. I love it.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah. Now, you know, circling back to Real a bit, a lot of the people that you guys interviewed, like I was mentioning before, are in the creative field or in the culturally heavy field. Now, do you think, or how do you think their style, or the fact that they're heavily into style, has influenced these brands and society as a whole to dress differently? Like, do you really think that these artists out there have that big of an impact on the way we dress?
I think so. I think where their impact comes in is they kind of like will give brands some equity, and they'll kind of start trends and make things they kind of set the trend of what's popular to wear and what the public will collectively kind of think in a way. So it's like, you know, if it's baggy jeans, is it the low rise like pants? Is it like the cargo jeans as well? Those are starting to get big. Different things. I think that's where they have like their influence, you know, a lot when it comes to that stuff.
And like a lot of people, like I know, like I guess I don't like using the word influencers, but you know, when a lot of other people see themselves in another person in terms of like maybe their personality, and that also could like reflect like in terms of their style as well. So it'd be like, oh, you know, like I kind of see myself in Drake and something, and you're like, oh, you know, like I like his style in terms of like, you know, what he's rocking in terms of like sneaker wear. So I can like vibe with that kind of, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I agree with that.
I mean, we have artists like Travis Scott, and obviously like Kanye, things like that. They're bringing out these shoes that have resale 3, 4, 5 times as high as retail prices. Do you think that the shoes that they make would have the same impact on culture as a whole if it didn't have their name attached to it?
I don't think so, because I think their name like plays a big part in the success of the shoe. I mean, don't get me wrong, like I'm a fan of the Yeezy shoe. I just don't think that if it wasn't Kanye who put that out, it may not have been as culturally transformational as it has. I think that it definitely helps a lot. But then again, that's not to say that someone who's like an unknown designer, like for example, like Ryugi, he's not really like, I mean, now he's a celebrity, right, with Rude, but I mean, before he's kind of, you know, he kind of came out of nowhere, and now a lot of artists and a lot of like people who are into fashion wear his stuff. So I mean, there's definitely two sides of the coin, but I definitely think the name behind a brand helps.
Yeah. And if you think of it as a way like an artist in a painting, it's kind of the same concept, because you know, without that artist having his name attached to that painting, it would just be kind of a regular painting. Like, you know how other people, you know, if you see like a painting go for like $1 million and you paint the exact same thing, obviously you're not going to have the same credibility as this other artist. So I think with like with Kanye, for example, if like Skechers made the same sneaker, no one would buy it.
Right. I like that. That's a great.
Yeah.
That's a great analogy. I like that.
Yeah. I didn't use food as an analogy this time, guys.
I'm gonna use that in the future.
Which is a recurring thing that I do.
All right. I'm gonna bring up some current trends in the sneaker world right now, at sneaker and streetwear world. And I just want to hear your hot takes, honest takes, nothing that you think the audience wants to hear, but your honest takes, because I'll tell you mine. Number one is all white Air Force Ones.
Okay.
I think Twitter has made that into something that just like I think it was like just like a white girl wear.
Yeah, they've kind of turned it into like a white girl sneaker. But like,
and then again, like you go on TikTok and you see all of that. So
yeah. Well, just looking at the shoe, just as like taking away from like it being, I don't know, being categorized as like a white girl shoe. It's actually it's a very versatile shoe. You can use it with literally any outfit. So like in my opinion, I think that take away like the labels on it, I'd still buy it and use it for like different types of outfits because it's very versatile.
Yes.
In my opinion. Yeah.
And you got to think about it too. It's like, as like with all trends, with all labels, it's gonna die down, right? So it's like if you buy, you know, the all white Air Force One now, maybe you don't wear it as frequently as you would, and then once the trend dies down, you start wearing it more. Then you're, you know, it's a little bit less of a label, and you can wear it more often if you're worried about that kind of stuff.
And I think it'll always be an essential shoe. Like it's I don't know how long that shoe's been around, for a very long time, and it's always constantly been brought back up as an essential shoe or a common shoe that everyone wears. Same with like the Prestos, the Vans. It's kind of like a shoe like that, so it's categorized as like an essential shoe. So it's never going to really grow out of style, I don't think, in my opinion.
Yeah, to Jesse, to your point, like there's a reason why it's a trend. You know what I mean? Like it's a trend because it's a great shoe to wear. Kind of similar to like a Chuck Taylor, like a Converse, or classic old school Vans, like checkered Vans. They're just shoes that might come in waves of popularity, but will be timeless forever. I actually have I have my first pair of all white Air Force Ones coming in the mail. So I'm actually pretty stoked. I'm on that wave. Boys.
Yeah, I actually might get a pair, to be honest.
I was actually I really like the all black ones too. But then again, like they have their own label too. So.
The all I don't know if you know, but the all black pair has a bit of controversy as being like a hood pair, if you will, like a kind of more of a thugger pair. I mean, personally, I don't see an issue with them. I think if you like all black,
I like the all black too. I'll probably get a pair.
I prefer all black anyways, but I already have like all white Converse. So like, Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know. I might look at them again. I might look at them after this and see what's going on. But
they're
I just find it
cheap.
funny how.
Yeah, they're
cheap,
not.
Yeah.
They're cheap. Yeah, they're what are they like $170 something like that?
I think all white Air Force Ones are 120.
120. Okay.
Yeah, 90 US, 120 Canadian. Number 2 is: do you think Vans are an overrated shoe at this point, or do you still think they have a place in our culture?
I think they're kind of similar to like the Air Force Ones in terms of being versatile. Like I feel like they're a good versatile shoe, but they're also a good summer shoe that you can pair with like shorts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, personally for me, I'm a fan of them.
Yeah, and I like wearing them to the gym too because they're like a flat shoe. So like when I'm squatting or deadlifting, you know, it's a good shoe that doesn't have like, you know, I guess too big of a heel. Like it's just completely flat. So it's versatile. Like in every, I wouldn't go running with them because it's not good for your feet. But I mean, like, you know, if you're just, you know, walking around, like you said, Brady, like summer, and then like you can use them in the gym. You can also like dress them up and dress them down. That's the thing too.
That's right.
So it's interesting. I feel like actually with Converse more that you can dress up and dress down, but Vans kind of like maybe would be like kind of like a lower tier version.
There's more color options with Vans too, right?
More color options too, yeah.
Yeah, true. Just do you have a hot take on that, or?
They've pretty much covered it. The only problem I have with Vans is I feel like they get ruined easily, and they're very, very uncomfortable for me, at least. I don't really like I can wear them and walk in them for a little bit, but if I'm walking downtown with them, I just have to get them off my feet because they hurt my feet. Wow. Especially in the sole.
Not a long distance shoe.
Yeah,
the sole. You have to. Yeah, you can't buy the one with like that flimsy back. Yeah, like when you do that, that's what causes the friction like on your heel.
Yeah.
If you buy the one with like a thicker back, like I have black shoes like that, and they're a lot more comfortable.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Like the bottom, like of the bottom of the shoe, it's like it's so thin that you can just feel the ground that you're walking on.
Yeah.
Like it's basically like the Vans just cut off the bottom of the shoe and it's just your foot. Like that's what it feels like to me. You can feel like a tiny little pebble that you step on.
Yeah.
I have a pair of all white Vans. I don't know what the style is because they're a style that nobody buys. Like they're not like the slip-ons or the old school. They're a very unique pair. But hot take, they're the most comfortable pair of shoes that I own by far. And another hot take, Vans are actually my favorite brand of shoes.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I would never expect that.
Yeah, out of any. I love the style. Even though I only own a couple pairs, they're by far my favorite. Just versatility, timelessness, and I think like my overall vibe. Just I love it.
And they're inexpensive too, right?
Yeah, they're cheap.
Thank you. Yeah.
And they're inexpensive. Yeah, you can get them for like $50-$60.
Yeah, exactly. Hit the outlet, you're good. All right, last hot take. This is more of a generic one. It can have a lot of you can have a whole podcast just on this, but your hot take currently on Supreme.
I mean, I've always liked the brand. I've always been a fan of the collabs and stuff they did. I mean, obviously, like money wise, like the resale value on the items. Like if you were just as a reseller, if I was a reseller, I'd definitely be wanting to get my hands on Supreme just because of the amount of money you can make off of it. But I mean, there's a whole basically underground culture just based around Supreme. So I mean, they've definitely done well for themselves. So I'm a fan. I mean, I like a lot of their stuff. Now, can I afford a lot of their stuff? No, but I mean, I definitely like. I like the style. Like, if I could afford it, I'd wear it for sure.
I agree.
I mean, sorry, I'll let you go, Jess.
No, I'm just saying I agree. Basically, said what I was going to say. Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't really have too much of an opinion on Supreme. Like personally, I don't really care for the brand. It's just like expensive and just seems too. I don't know. For me, it's like it's expensive, which people are like, oh well, it's expensive, which means it's good. But it must be a good brand to wear. But then again, it just seems like such a cheap brand to me in a way. Even though it is expensive, it just comes off as cheap to me. I don't know if it's like the aesthetic, but I personally don't like their stuff. Yeah. Like I'm not a big fan of like the red. Like I mean, like if they had like something like to do with black, but even then, like I don't really care too much for like what they like. Just looking at it from like a fashion sense, I'd be like, well, I don't see this serving any purpose in my wardrobe whatsoever. Yeah.
The Surface is more so a streetwear kind of. It's a more streetwear brand. So like, I can see where you're coming from. Where you're looking at it as not like a brand. You can't match price with look. It's more so like minimal streetwear kind of look to it. And also to like the quality of the quality of their clothes is actually like really, like it's actually really good, especially their sweaters. But me personally, like especially for like the Supreme, I'm not really a big fan of like the most of their designs, so I wouldn't go and spend. I think some of their sweaters like resell for like what, $400-$500 to $1,000, $2,000, right? Like me personally, I'm not going out to go buy Supreme when it drops. Maybe at retail, because I think they retail for like what, $150-$200.
Yeah, 158 for the sweaters.
So
yeah,
that's not too bad, but like they go right away. You can't. They don't redrop stuff, right? They do drops, whatever's there people take, and then they're not doing those again, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing with being able to actually get it for retail. That's why I was saying, like, a lot of the time you're just not, because of the limited supply, you're just not able to get it to retail. So then, like what you were saying, just you have to kind of go back and forth and be like, okay, well, is this design or is this sweater, is it worth like the $2,000 price tag at, and you got to kind of make that decision.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally.
I would definitely resell Supreme.
Oh, that's what I was saying.
If I can get my hands on them.
100%. Shameless plug.
Sponsor the video.
That's right. All right. Real quick, last question for all of you. What is one style tip, whether tangible or intangible, that you would give to any guy or girl for that matter, just to elevate their game?
Maybe like invest in like what's
essentials.
the word? Essentials. Like have your essentials. So like, if you're going out to get groceries, or you're just going around the house and you want to like still wear clothes, not pajamas. Basically like have your essentials, but also get, like, if you're really into fashion and you really appreciate the art that goes into every designer that makes a certain piece, I would definitely get those timeless pieces as well. Like maybe that be a Supreme, maybe that be like a Kith sweater, or maybe like an All Saints, and maybe just like really dive into whatchamacallit, like the art that other designers put into their clothes and appreciate it. And then again, it should also like reflect like your morals and ethics too. Like maybe like this designer specifically focuses on sustainability, and if that's something that you really like are into, maybe dive into that. But I would start with your essentials, and then if you want to collect timeless pieces as well, that's if you want to like step it up, that's probably what I would recommend.
Yeah, I like that too. I mean, for me, you can't go wrong with like what you were saying, the essentials. And then for me, it's like black jeans are very versatile. You can mix and match. You can do a lot of things with them. So I mean, you got to have. I feel like, my opinion, you got to have a pair of black jeans in the wardrobe. It really, I mean, you can just do so much with it, and it helps to, alleviate the headache when you wake up. You're like, oh man, like what am I gonna put on? Like, okay, well, I got a pair of black jeans, and it's just like the color combinations you can work with.
Like jeans or like chinos?
Yeah.
Like jeans,
either or, to be honest, either or. Both, I mean, in my opinion, I like and would wear both. So, it's whatever your preference is, I guess. At the end of the day.
Because I have both like chinos and
you got a pair of both.
And
you got
jeans
jeans
as well. Yeah. Well, my jeans have like a nice big rip in them, but yeah. Then I also have like the Lululemon, like the Lululemon like ABC pants, and those are like the most comfortable pants. Yeah, like I can dress them up and dress them down too.
100%. Shouts out Lulu, making the best pants in the game.
Yeah, I know. I was looking on their website like a couple days ago, and I was like, I don't know, like I kind of want to get some ABCs.
Right. Yeah.
And what's funny too is like ABC stands for anti-ball crushing, which not a lot of people know. I would tell, like when I worked there, I would tell like a lot of people that's what that was, and they'd always laugh and be like, "No, you're kidding." And then I'd show them the tag, and they're like, "Yep, here it is." Yeah. Anyways, what about you, Jess?
I would say I think probably have two. But one would be just don't be afraid to like express yourself through your fashion, because I know that a lot of people, they'll hold back on like buying that one piece or buying that certain sneaker or a certain jacket or whatever, because they just afraid of kind of like standing out, I guess. So I think a big thing would be be afraid to buy what you want to buy and create what you want to create, because it's like in a way it's kind of it's another form of art in a way. Like fashion is essentially another form of art. And my second point would be like I used to watch this guy, I forget his name. I think it's like Jacob Keller, or I forget his name, but he really emphasized not like putting yourself or wearing stuff that kind of makes you look like a blob. So for example, wearing all black, like just straight all black, it doesn't really make you stand out or make you like it just kind of like crowds everything and makes you look like a whole blob. So just try and mix it up with your colors. If you're wearing like minimal colors, try and mix it up with those minimal colors. If you're wearing like colorful colors, just try and mix it up, you know what I mean? So just wearing all one color.
Find your aesthetic.
Yeah.
Find what works.
Pinterest it up.
That's right, Pinteresting up. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me on episode 2. I appreciate you guys more than anything. Honestly, you guys are not only good friends, but you guys are some of the most talented people I know. So thank you again for taking the time out of your day to do this with me. Real quick, I want you guys to each let the audience know where they can find you on social media to give you guys a follow.
Okay, I guess I'll start. So for me, just all platforms, it's Brady Carducci. So BradyCarducci, and that's my handle for all platforms. So you can find me there.
Jess?
Oh, you want me to go? Okay, so you can find me on, I'll just do my personal account. So actually I'll do both. So Jesse Carducci, so JESSE CARDUCCI, and then I have another, my music account would be the same thing, just add music at the end of that. And then you can also find Real Collective too, a Real Collective. So A and then Real Collective.
100%. Follow Real Collective.
Yeah.
For me, it's just Daniel DiMedero. So DANIEWA. Oh, how do I say it?
It's in the corner. It's in the corner.
The normal way. And then so DEMEDEIROS. And then that's everything. Daniel DiMedero on. Well, I don't really use Twitter, but Instagram. And then A Real Collective. Shout out
at A Real Collective. 100% follow all these guys. Follow A Real Collective or Real Collective. I had to make sure I got that right for this podcast. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for having us on, man.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you guys so much for listening to episode 2 of the First Come First Serve podcast. My name is Josh, your host once again. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.